Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, the most balanced person of his time. He thought of developing himself as a proper personality, then to help his fellow citizens for creating their own identities. A deep inspiration from his mother Putlibai Gandhi helped him set a fundamental ground of truth and belief in faith, which became his strongest tools throughout his lifetime. For him, it was his firm determination that he can do it. So, he initiated everything on his own and created the landmarks.
As an unassertive and a clumsy boy, he was believed to be just another kid among the human species in the same adaptation. Who knew? This gentleman born and brought up at Porbandar district of Gujarat in the huge set of relatives will be the father of the nation. As an
With several hopes of exploring his law career, he landed in South Africa in 1893. But the sail to South Africa was not supposed to be pleasing, as he had to fight various injustices imposed on Indians. These were the initial few events. Now, Gandhiji had the two alternatives, either to give up and return to India, or to fight back to secure the rights of all the foreigners in order to avoid any such incidents in the future. It was literally a time to give back, a reverse shot.
So, counting in a sequence, British Indian Association was founded in October 31, 1851, to bring Indians in the limelight and avoid their alienation. Then in 1894 Gandhiji founded Natal Indian Congress to fight discrimination. Indian Opinion publication, a newspaper started in June 6, 1903 has to serve politically for Gandhiji. And peaceful resistance campaigns followed thereafter.
While it was a happy moment for Mahatma Gandhi, who was returning back to India, there were many things not in shape because it was British India. Not just Indians, India. Mahatma Gandhi was now a nationalist. He joined Indian National Congress in 1920. The strategy was to lead I.N.C. and its followers in Satyagraha pattern. So, he led campaigns for Swaraj. He observed several fasts to retain the human cause.
Satyagraha, indigo plantation in the 25% of land, forceful and illegal extraction of the taxes from the farmers were the main issues of the time. Indigo reduced the fertility of the soil and nothing else could be sown on the same piece of land. The first appeal to Mahatma Gandhi was made by Rajkumar Shukla, an agriculturist from Champaran. Kheda Satyagraha. The reason behind this was the excessive taxation in spite of crop failures due to some natural calamities. The case observed negotiations between the Gujarat Sabha and the government. The solution followed the concession in the taxes and awareness among the peasants. Non-cooperation movement. It was in strong opposition to an unjustified Rowlatt Act which picked up randomly the people to put them in the bars without any legal justification. The Jallianwala Bagh massacre of the 13th of April 1919 gave Mahatma Gandhi a major blow against the British government. Dandi March. It was a 384 kilometers long journey from Sabarmati Ashram to the coastal village of Gandhiji. The only motive was to produce salt from seawater and not to pay the salt tax unnecessarily, for what was available in our own land, then why to pay the tax for the same to the foreigners? Quit India movement. Finally, a time had come to legally call off the rule of British government in India. Now, it was a do or die situation. These 40 years from 1858 to 1942 was more than enough. The forced guests in India were entertained for quite long. It was a point to bid them a farewell but with bitter feelings. Well,
Mahatma, the Highness. If one has to clearly define this highly regarded word, that would be a great soul with great concepts, logical ideas, and eternity of love that has acquired that precious space in him. He always thought about his country and donated his whole life towards its betterment. He further taught us that the game of simplicity played with a vigilant mind could help the whole world turn in our favor. The changes in Mahatma Gandhi's dressing pattern was a clear reflection of what he is up to and what frame of mind he is living with. Dressing sense is determined by the following factors, that is, the environment, choice, deficiency, and thinking. Environment. When Gandhiji was preparing to become a great lawyer, he faced some problems in pursuing the same. But he got an offer from a merchant Dada Abdullah in South Africa which encouraged his personality development as a lawyer. He adapted the Western dressing sense with proper shirt, coat, pant and shoes because he was surrounded by the law associated who wore the same dressing code in all the meetings and the parties. He was changing for better, but little did he knew what he had on his cards further. Choice. When he returned to India and seen the plight of the Indians, he was really devastated by the degradation of their living standards by the British government. He could not expect that someone can stoop so low to monopolize their control over each and everything which actually India owed. Gandhiji wanted to communicate with the peasants who were the most affected citizens because of the blunders in taxes by the government. So, he felt that they were a bit hesitant to share their views because they felt that he does not belong to their category. So, he adapted the look of the peasant, that was normal dhoti and khadi shawl, and that was the time he introduced khadi clothes. Now he was a part of the peasant's lifestyle to know their grievances well. Deficiency. The economy was so weak that any person could barely afford proper clothing. They had to arrange food and pay tax from the available money. Shelter was like thinking of something which is next to impossible. So, Gandhiji himself preferred ashram and did all activities from Sabarmati ashram.
this was the first time Mahatma Gandhi highlighted the use of khadi clothes. His motive was to take actions for the betterment of his people along with their support. He wanted to look like a proper Indian. He wanted to merge in the Indian population after getting the same attire and make sure that any kind of Western clothes are not promoted. He did not wanted them to ask for tax for providing clothes as well. It was India's signature fabric, then why not to adapt it? Khadi suited very well with Gandhi's logic. Hence, proving himself as a disciplined civilian. Introduction of Charkha. Gandhiji aimed not to depend on the government for each and every small things. He knew that the same population was capable enough for doing their own good. Gandhiji thought of using charkha instead of any costly machinery to produce clothes for their own selves. The three wise monkeys. These three make concerns which becomes the root of every problem, that is, listening bad, speaking ill and doing evil. The one who is going against these three rules of humanity must be punished. Their eyes will be shut. Then they will not be able to see any evil. Hence, will not badmouth anyone, whether a human being or any species, and consequently they will not perform any action. The origin of this philosophy belongs to Japan, which was later adapted by Mahatma Gandhi. There were several instances in South Africa, which led to his changed code of conduct towards his life, thereafter pursuing the same in India.